What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we are continuing the 7-round mock drafts in draft order with the Seattle Seahawks. So if you guys are new, we'd love for you guys to stick around. I'm going to be doing a little bit more mock the mocks soon enough because we've been seeing some big ones come out and about, but I want to continue this because I want it to be done before mid-March, before free agency hits. So yes, got to get through all of these, and then we're going to try to bring on some cool guests. If you guys have any ideas for who should be coming on, some YouTubers especially, because I love collaborations. It's super fun to be able to network in the community and, be able to just bring on some new faces. Feel free to drop that below. DM me on Twitter, on Discord. Feel free to join that. Over 700 members there. But yeah, let's jump right into this. Of course, if you guys are new to this series, we're going to start off by looking at the rosters because I don't really want to speak out of my ass when I'm talking about what you guys need. So we might as well just look at the statistics here. Of course, we start off in the quarterback range, and where the fuck are the quarterbacks? So apparently, based on how this is built, we do not have a quarterback on roster. Obviously, I'm going to be addressing it anyways. Yes, we have the free agents right here. And based on those positions, Drew Lock and Geno Smith, yeah, I, for some reason, thought Drew Lock had one more year left. It does not look like that's the case, but we jumped the gun. Geno Smith is in contract talks. He is a little bit older. We'll talk about that when the time comes. Running backs, I honestly think you're set. I loved DJ Dallas coming in. He was, I believe, my RB8 that year. Just a big fan of him from the U. Kenneth Walker, absolutely awesome. Good player to have on your team. I'm excited to see him continue his success there in Seattle. Wide receiver-wise, DK, monster, freak of nature himself. Just hasn't really lived up to what he could be, and I think you guys would agree to that. Kind of thought he might be the best wide receiver in the NFL by this point. I hope that he continues to have that maturation process. Tyler Lockett's still a good player. It's concerning about how long he's on contract for because he will be getting up there in age soon. D. Wayne Eskridge, I still think he goes by D. Eskridge now. I loved him coming out. I thought he was going to be a superstar, especially in this system. I thought he was going to pick up a lot of slack, and just hasn't done so out of Western Michigan. He was a very good player, and I kind of hope that he's able to shine a little bit more because he was a late first for me. So, very, very unfortunate. Other wide receivers of note, I actually like Aesop Winston. I believe he went to, was it Eastern Washington or Washington State? I believe it was Washington State University. And he was a good player, but besides that, I mean, there's not really much depth on this team. You could pick up somebody later on if you'd like. Tight end wise, Noah Fant, Colby Parkinson, Will Dissly. Colby was one of my teammates in high school. He's a good guy, but I don't really think he's a star tight end myself, and kind of sucks to say that because I really hoped he would be. Noah Fant, we'll see what happens with him. Obviously, first-round pick, former first-round pick. And Will Dissly, just when he's healthy, he's great. When he's not so much. But I'd wait till next year's draft to draft a tight end because Will Dissly's there for a couple years. We'll see what happens with the guys who are available down the board. But UDFA would be a good spot, in my opinion, to pick up somebody. Offensive line-wise, you have your two star tackles here from last year's draft class in Charles Cross and Abe Lucas. I had issues with Charles Cross's anchor, similar to the way I do with Paris Johnson. I think Charles Cross is just the upgraded version of what Paris Johnson is, and by by a large margin, a couple leagues higher. But Charles Cross still a phenomenal player. I think he's going to continue maturing into a superstar left tackle. Stone Forsythe, he was a pretty damn consistent tackle there for Florida. He had issues. I had a late third on him. He slipped to the 7th, and not necessarily the best NFL career, but I still think he can also pick up the slack soon as well. But besides that, you could also look for some depth pieces there at tackle. Probably not the best class. Where the hell are the guards? Gabe Jackson, Damian Lewis. Not a huge fan of either of them, to be honest. Damian Lewis at least is younger. Pretty sure he's from LSU. Gabe Jackson, you give him a pretty hefty contract, and both of them are up after next year. It's a little bit of a concern. Center, y'all can see, I don't really need to tell you that center role is vacant, and we do not project free agency in here, so we do want to address that when the draft comes around. Shelby Harris, man, that's defensive interior. You guys are 100% correct by saying you need some help here. I like Shelby Harris a lot, like a lot. And he's even up after next year as well. Defensive end wise, Boye Mafe, I like Tyreek Smith too. That's quite nice actually that you have him on there. Alton Robinson, not too shabby either. But not really seeing star power. Boye Mafe has that potential to develop into a star. Don't know if he's there just yet. Darrell Taylor, another pass rusher you have. Uchenna, interesting. I thought for some reason Uchenna was available, but he is not. And honestly, I really like Uchenna Nwosu. Other linebackers you guys have, Jordan Brooks, Ben Burr-Kirven. Not bad players in my eyes. Not bad. And we'll look at the other guys who still could be brought back as well. But safety-wise, who's on roster, Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs. Quandre is having I assume it's probably like a joking back and forth, but like a little bit of a joust with Geno Smith. He had he had some type of participation award for carrying the team or some shit. That very interesting. I don't know about that, but hopefully that was just being like funny, because otherwise that's not very good for the outlook of the team. But cornerback wise, Kobe Bryant, Tariq Woolen, both really solid players. Trey Brown. I don't think you need to address the corner position with a star, but I don't see it being out of the realm of possibility to grab somebody who could be a true number 2, where Kobe Bryant could be a really, really good number 3. Let's just jump right into the draft right after we take... Oh, forgot about this part because we already did look at it. Rashad Penny also up. Hopefully you guys can bring him back on a 1-year deal. I like Rashad Penny. Maybe he can just go to another place like the Eagles and then end up being a star there. We'll see. But anything else of note? Jonathan Abram, not a bad safety to have in that rotation. I'd try to bring him back. Cody Barton was the guy who I was thinking of when I was talking about the linebackers. I don't know what his value is, but personally, I would love to keep him on roster. Poona Ford, always solid. Yeah, you got some dudes who probably should be brought back, but I mean, Austin Blythe's not horrible. Yeah, it's not looking good for this team because you guys do have a very solid roster, but I feel like the issues are part of the foundation. Like you have the center of the offensive line, you have the quarterback position unknown, you have defensive interior, potentially corner. Like there are legitimate errors or like legitimate weaknesses on this team, and I think we really need to address it. But I'm not going to take CJ Stroud every time, but if he is there, 100% I am taking him. If Will Levis is there as well, he fits exactly the system you need to run, so I'm going to do that. So I know you guys don't like the Will Levis idea, and I understand that. I'm not as high on Will Levis as many people either. You see underneath my face, I have CJ at number 16, and I have, where the hell did I put Will? At number 20. So I do think CJ is better, but Will ran the exact same style of offense there at Kentucky. So, you know, it is what it is. Pick number 20. I want to look at offensive line here. I do think that center/guard role is very vacant. I would look at John Michael Schmitz with my next pick, though. I think 36 is a perfect spot for John Michael Schmitz. Now, you could take Broderick Jones and kick him into guard. I don't think that's a bad idea because if we look at his height, he is 6'4", and that is honestly a really solid idea. I'd be perfectly fine with doing that, and I very well might. I kind of want to do that because, again, we want to look at the defensive interiors on this team and the guys who are left. Kalijah's potentially sub 6 foot. Not going to be the guy that you're trying to have that can be that plug. Looking at Mozzie Smith is a good option. Keanu Benton as a good option. For me, I think that's the best idea. Jared Clark. Those are my dudes. Keandre Coburn. So I'm not going to take Kalijah Cansey here. I'm actually going to take Broderick Jones and have him as a guard. He might get pissed, but at the same time, you can kind of kiss my ass. I'm just going to be completely blunt. I don't really care. So I think that's the best move. Edge rusher as well is available, but I already know that you can get some star edge rushing talent. At this pick, again, we're moving in Broderick Jones to guard. So people are saying I'm getting a tackle. I'm not getting a tackle. I'm moving him to guard because he is 6'4". He does have some issues in terms of his technical ability. And also, you have that tackle versatility now because injuries happen all the damn time. But at pick number 36, I'm looking at Mozzie Smith. I'm looking at B.J. Ojulari. I love them both. I'm also looking here at John Michael Schmitz. But I know damn well I got 2 more guard/centers to get through. And I think I might take the risk. If not, I can go Olusegun because I have passed on him multiple drafts in a row now. And I think I'd be perfectly fine with that. I'm going to go after Mozzie Smith here. I trust that Pete Carroll is going to be able to develop him. He was number 1 in Bruce Feldman's freaks list. So I think that I can trust, the athleticism to be able to remain, while Pete Carroll can kind of mold the technique in terms of his overall ability. So you're just taking a big swing on somebody who he does have some errors, especially in that game versus TCU. I saw him get moved out of the way, but he has the size, he has the explosiveness. That's exactly what you're kind of looking for if you have a coach like Pete Carroll who can develop defensive talent. Pick number 51. So Luke's still on the board. I took him in my last mock draft. I don't really want to do that. Who's the asshole? Oh my God. Oh, Washington. I am going to just lose my mind. I might have to go back-to-back with Luke Whippler, which he should go before John Michael Schmitz based on age alone. I mean, linebacker is something I think you could definitely address. Jack Campbell would be an awesome fit. Let's look at the edge rushers as well, because I do think that is something I would love to look at. Isaiah McGuire is just going to be too good of a value there, that 83rd pick. Like, it's not worth it. I already know I can get Isaiah McGuire, who was formerly my number 2 player, but we'll talk about that if we go and try to select him. Trenton Simpson's still on the board, though. I don't think we can pass on a value like Trenton Simpson. I go that way in my own mock drafts. It's bullshit that he is here, but I'm not here to complain. I'm here to take advantage of PFF's stupidity. So I'll scroll down so you guys get to see a little bit more of my board as well. Taking a quick peek, you could still get Andrew Voorhees or Olusegun here. I do think offensive line is a big need, but we've, again, addressed that guard spot. We don't need to do that anymore. I was looking at edge rusher here with Isaiah McGuire. I think that's a perfect fit, especially if you don't bring back anybody. Isaiah McGuire is going to be more consistent, very solid run defender as well. My number 2 player in the class, he just did not have a good Senior Bowl. I watched on his Instagram stories who he was training with, and no disrespect to those people because I can't really make a claim because I'm not a somebody in sports, but they were people who were not going to make rosters. And usually the best talent usually goes to the best trainers. That's the general rule. And it was pretty obvious that he was significantly ruining his potential by training with somebody, by not training with those elite trainers in the offseason. And I don't know the reason why, but I just knew that based on the guys he was practicing with and the way he looked while practicing, it was not going to work out as well as maybe how Travon Walker and the rest of the Georgia defense did last year. And you saw at the combine what happens. Like, if you train with the right coaches, you're going to just absolutely skyrocket in terms of your technical ability as well as athletic profile. And yeah, he just looked bad at the Senior Bowl. That's why I dropped him from number 2 to number 31 on my board. Realistically, he should probably be around 50. Pick number 122, though. I would love to look at defensive interior here. Zach Pickens is a good player. Jared Clark, I don't know if I can trust him being there at 153. Jared Clark was another Senior Bowl player who I'm a big fan of. He's exactly what you're looking for from a defensive interior. Oh, I totally forgot. We went Mozzie Smith. Yeah, so we don't need that. But I love giving a shout out to Jared Clark when I can. So we have already gone Mozzie Smith. We've already gone Broderick Jones. We've already gone CJ Stroud. And then we just went after an edge rusher here in Isaiah McGuire. So we're kind of cooking right now, and I like it. And we went Trenton Simpson. So we are doing just fine. Now we can kind of take more of a luxury pick. Looking at, Blake Freeland would not be bad as a tackle backup. But Olusegun's still here. So is Andrew Voorhees. I'm not going to kick Andrew to center. So I'm going to go Olusegun Oluwatimi, who I do think actually might end up on the Seahawks. Kind of like one of those things where I could totally see him working as a Seahawk. Good player. I really like him. He is one of my top 32 players. Or is he top 32? Where is he at? He's number 28 on my board. I'm a big fan of him. I'm trying to reduce the amount of times I take him. But pick number 153. I'm debating on taking Starling Thomas, who clocked in at 24 miles per hour. Thank you to my subs who have been telling me about him. I would love to try to take a shot on somebody who has athleticism because there's no real pressure to have to just step in and start. Running back wise, I'm looking at the guys available. There's no way I'm taking Deuce multiple times. It's not fair. He's my RB1 graded. He's RB2 for me. I can't continue taking him, even though I love the idea of it. Like, Kenny McIntosh would be fun, but we can do that the next pick. Looking at it, I'm going to go Starling Thomas here. Definitely somebody where if you don't have him on your roster already or have him on your radar, should probably get to doing it. Blake Freeland, I am really tempted to go after. Like, I am extremely tempted. He should not be here at 142, but I'm going to save him for another team. I am going to save him. It kills me, but I'm going to save him because I really do like Blake Freeland. It doesn't exactly make sense for the Seahawks to go after him. Wide receiver wise, you guys know my love with Justin Shorter, but other guys of note, Trey Tucker's a pretty solid guy. He's going to be a UDFA. Jalen Wayne, he was, wow, I'm tripping on the name of the Hall of Famer that he's a son of. I think it's Jared Wayne. I'm tripping balls right now. Does not matter. Reggie Wayne. There we go. So Jalen Wayne's son of Reggie. It would be cool. Puka Nacua. You guys know how much I love Puka Nacua. I watched him last night too. Really fun player. Really fun player. So other positions, quarterback's already addressed. Wide receiver, tight end I said, but I don't want to continue pretty much destroying the amount of tight ends that I take every single time. Safety, I do think could be in the mix here. I don't think that's a bad idea, but the guys who are available, I'm not a big fan of. And the more I look at this, the less I like it. It's not a great class. It's not. We can go maybe after another edge rusher here. You do have guys like Yaya Diaby who'd be great. Lonnie Phelps, honestly, would be such a fun fit for this team. It really doesn't matter what you do. I feel like this team's now, like, we've gotten the perfect value. And Lonnie Phelps has short arms, but I do love his play style. He's a really dominant player if he gets his hands on you. So someone who I liked, I believe at Miami, Ohio. So very nice to see that he's been able to carve out a reputation for himself. D. Winters is actually being watched potentially later today. So keep your eyes out on that one. Servassier Dennis, another guy who is going to be watched later today. I thought I just saw this on Mohamed Ibrahim. I know we just do not have running backs at the moment, and I want to show some love to Mo Ibrahim. He was a guy a couple years ago before injuries just kind of took over. He was probably going to be, well, technically it was a draft and a half ago, so it's like 2021 draft. He was going to end up being like a third round pick for me, but this is the draft. It's surprising that they gave that pick a grade of B+. You can kiss my ass on that. But that's the draft, guys. I wanted to thank you guys so much for supporting me as always. Let me know what you would have done. I'm ready for that.